Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Mike and today I want to talk a little bit about SGDQ. This is a speedrunning event for those of you that have not heard of it. And by the way, if you haven't heard of it and you're like a big gamer, oh my gosh, you've been missing out on some incredibly awesome stuff. It's basically an event where people do a lot of different speedruns. There's races and there's like glitchless runs. They have exhibitions, things like that. And so SGDQ is a super awesome event. I haven't been into it since it began, but over the last couple of years, I've gotten more and more into it. And there's a few runs that I'd like to note that I really enjoy. I was looking through the schedule and the list and I sort of picked out a few that I was especially excited for and I wanted to share those with you. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to jump right into this. These are in no particular order. I will put on the screen the date and the time of these runs so you can know, but that is for your sake. The first one that I'm really excited for is the Super Mario Maker 3v3 blind level race. These ones always intrigue me because again, it's blind levels, so they're levels that obviously I haven't seen because it's Super Mario Maker and it's just community made or expert made levels. They always pick levels that are really challenging, and so I like these runs because speedrunners can't just memorize the course the way that a lot of people do, because a lot of people say speedruns are just muscle memory, and in a lot of ways that's true, but with the blind level race it's not, you know, it's skill. It's not I have the buttons memorized, it's I have strategies memorized to optimize my speed routes. And I'm going to try to use that in a level that I've never seen before. So it's like, it's fun because you're watching speedrunners learn how to speedrun a new level. And I think that's what makes these races the most fun. And I'm also a huge fan of Grand Pooh Bear and Carl Sagan. I think both of them are absolutely hilarious. They're awesome to watch. They do tons of Super Mario Maker contents. And so I'm always excited to see Super Mario Maker. The other big speedrunner that I'm a huge fan of is Jeff, and he has a bonus speedrun incentive that is Super Monkey Ball 2, but it's a ROM hack version. It's called Monkeyed Ball with an ED at the end. I've been watching him speedrun this on his Twitch channel for a very long time. I'm actually subscribed to him on Twitch. It is so fun to watch. The music in that speedrun, and that ROM hack I mean, is extremely awesome to listen to. I actually put it for a couple Nintendudez Song of the Day stuff. The levels are so impossible. I've never played it myself, obviously, because I don't know how to download all that ROM hack stuff. But watching him do it and just seeing the levels, I can see the level of skill that it takes. And the fact that he has it down to like the exact numbers and frames, it's absolutely incredible to watch. I think Monkey Ball, more than any game I've seen so far, has so many like frame perfect things that you have to time as far as like getting the clock on the exact number. And so every time I watch and play that game, I'm always impressed, and it does not matter how many times I see it. Some of the like moves and tricks that they do in that game are so cool. So this one looks fun, but watching any Monkey Ball speedrun is fun, so I would definitely recommend any of them. There's another Super Monkey Ball 2, just a normal game that's being run as well that I'm definitely going to be checking out, but I like Jeff because he's hilarious to listen to. There's also going to be a run of Tomb Raider. The runner for this game I have not heard of before. It's Bexky93. I'm going to tune into this one though just because I like the Tomb Raider game. They're playing the PC version of this one. I'm a fan of Tomb Raider, so obviously I'm going to check it out. They're also doing a Rise of the Tomb Raider run as well that I'll probably look at. I'm always so interested because seeing modern games like that sped run is interesting because I'm so used to watching 2D platformers, and I think that's part of the reason that I'm so interested in this one because I haven't really seen speedruns like this. The closest I've seen to a speedrun of a game like Tomb Raider is a game like Resident Evil, and again, those games are vastly different, so I'm excited to see the type of tactics that you have in games like that. This one's a bit of an odd one. It's Pet the Pup at the Party. No clue what that game is. The runner for this game is Bullets. It says that this run is 8 minutes long. It's weird. It's Tuesday at 4:20 in the morning, 4:20 a.m. Just the idea of this run is hilarious to me. I know the only reason it even made it on the list is because it's an 8-minute speedrun. So I'm excited just because what the heck is that? I get to learn about a brand new game and see it played from start to finish in a matter of 8 minutes. So that sounds like a sweet deal to me. So, you know, whatever Pet the Pup at the Party is, it's going to be there, and that's all right with me. There's a little Castlevania block that follows shortly after. There's 4 Castlevania games that are going to be played. Castlevania 1, 3, Bloodlines, and then Circle of the Moon. Personally, I'm a fan of watching Castlevania because it's such a hard game. I've only beaten like 1 or 2 of the games in that series, and admittedly, one of the times I had to use save states, I believe it was Castlevania 3 that I had to. So I don't even know if that really counts. Those games are just an absolute nightmare to play through. So whenever I watch a speedrun of those games, I get so impressed because they make the game look easy. And then I go back and try to play it, and then I just completely suck ass. So, you know, it's fun watching people that are good at stuff like that. So, you know, Castlevania is definitely like the classic NES game that I love going back and watching people speedrun. So, again, I would recommend checking that one out. There's 2 races that are going to follow shortly after that. That is A Hat in Time and Celeste. These are 2 smaller indie games that I have so much respect for. A Hat in Time, I followed its development for the past like 4 or 5 years, I want to say. Because I remember Josh Jepson was making videos about it when it was like pre-alpha. Which was years ago, and so that's when I first heard of it, and I've always kind of followed the development since. Didn't think the game was going to happen, and then it did, and it was so awesome, and it was well worth the wait. And then Celeste, you hear Nick talk about it all the time. It's such a beautiful game with the story. I know he's not a fan of watching the game sped run, but I feel a little bit different. I like just seeing people play games however they like it. Celeste has a beautiful story, and I think even though they're going to speedrun through the text, just seeing the level design and the amazing gameplay, I think we get so caught up in the story of Celeste that we sometimes forget the quick action and the gameplay that's in it is so awesome too. And so I think the race is sort of a way to respect the other side of Celeste, the gameplay side of it. And so I'm excited to see a race of it, and the skill level for that game has to be high, so we'll see what the runners are like for that game. Then there's a bit of an interesting run. It's a game called Biomiracle Bakute Upa. You're probably wondering, Mike, why do you care about that? Well, for those of you that have followed me since my Mike the D-Backer 26 channel, you would know this was the very first game I ever uploaded on my channel. That's still up, at least. I had a New Vegas series before, but that's long gone. So the earliest video you can find of me on YouTube is of Biomiracle Bakute Upa. I played it because there was no other YouTube video up except for like some crab guy, Deceased Crab I think his name was. So I thought I'd be original in doing this because I thought if I play a game no one else has played, people will check it out. And turns out it was kind of true because I got a decent amount of views for a first video, but no one looks up Biomiracle Bakute Upa, so it didn't work out for me too well. But this is going to be a nostalgia trip for me. It's about a 30-minute run from Enchantress and Numbers. So, it's a nostalgia trip for me. It's a fun little platform game. It's not like Mario at all because you play as a baby and it's just bizarre, some of the levels, but check it out. It's a game that's dear to my heart, so I'm excited to visit it again. And as you can probably imagine, a lot of the classics are here. You have Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Mario 3D World, Skyward Sword, Resident Evil HD, which I'm always excited for, Banjo-Tooie. There's a Mario 64, 70 Star Race. All the games that are pretty much in it every year. Personally, Super Mario World's also every year, but I always like seeing that one. This one is going to be an all castle, all fort run, but it's going to be all small Mario, so they're not going to use any power-ups, so I'm excited to see how that one will turn out. I think it's about over an hour on the estimated time, so Super Mario World is definitely one I watch every year as well. Kingdom Hearts 1.5 Remix is also one that has been at GDQs pretty much every single time, and they've usually had numerous Kingdom Hearts games as well. They're doing the 1.5 Remix run this time. It's going to be a level 1 Proud mode run, any percent. Those always trip me up because, again, it's level 1. So, they have very little health, very little strength. So it's fun watching them have to strategize and defeat these bosses. Everything in this game is down to like a perfect science as far as like when to strike an enemy and waiting for the moments and optimizing your combos and things like that. So I always love seeing these runs. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of the Kingdom Hearts games overall, so I'm a little biased toward that, but I'm excited to see how that run turns out. The Pokemon games, Yellow and Red, are going to be ran. I always love watching Pokemon games because the numbers and the way that they speedrun this with glitches is always fun. This one's going to be a glitchless run through, but it's one person playing 2 games with 1 controller at the same time. That sounds intense. I don't even know how that works out. Just the concept of that, 2 games, 1 controller, 1 speedrunner, I'm in. I'm going to be there watching that one. It's going to be a couple hours because it's a glitchless Pokemon run, and those ones tend to take a while, but it sounds fun, so I'll be there. And the last run of GDQ on the last day is going to be Final Fantasy VI. Approximately a 7-hour run. Good lord, that's going to be a marathon. Though, to be fair, there's no better way to end SGDQ than with a marathon type game. I think the exact estimate was 7 hours and 2 minutes. Final Fantasy VI is a great game. The combat in it's fun. It's sort of the last of its kind for the Final Fantasy games before 7 took a drastic turn. So I'm excited to watch the highlights. I'm probably not going to be there for all 7 hours. I got work to do and things like that. But, just the concept of it sounds fun, and I'm definitely going to be interested in watching this game. So, again, SGDQ looks like it's going to be incredible. There's so many games that I didn't get to talk about. The runners that do these games constantly amaze me every time I see it. So to you guys that haven't seen a GDQ yet, SGDQs are a good one to get into because they're a lot smaller. There's a lot less runs. There's not as much hype. It's not as crowded and stuff. So this is a good one to get into. Like I said, all the ones that I mentioned are the ones that I'm personally excited for, but I'll leave the full schedule in the description so you can look for games that you're interested in. Again, there's so many. There's like a bunch of Mega Man games, a bunch of Mario games, so many that I didn't even talk about here. There's a lot of smaller type indie games that I've never even heard of before. So, you know, there's definitely something for everyone at a GDQ. And if you're ever curious, well, what does this game look like when someone speedruns it? There's no better event to find out than this one. So with that out of the way, let me know what runs you guys are excited for. Let me know if you'll be watching GDQ. And if you're excited for any of the runs I talked about, I would love to know. Thanks everybody for watching. Bye-bye.